Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch One, and thanks for logging on. Today we are looking at the Zenith El Primero chronograph, 42mm in brushed and polished stainless steel. You can see the Zenith El Primero chronograph on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there if you like, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. Now this watch, 42mm across, is neither oversized nor undersized, it's right-sized. You can see on my wrist 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference. The watch has a perfect span. Look at the overhead shot. You can see that the 50mm measurement between extremities of opposite lug to opposite lug mean that the watch has a modern presence, but with only a 12.5mm thickness and a sloped bezel, it does easily slide under a cuff, and just as importantly, it has a look of elegance, not bulk to it. Now 42mm across the round of the case, you can see that it's mostly dial. The watch has an oversized dial relative to other elements, and the key thing there is that it makes the watch look as though it's far larger than its nominal 42mm. From an ergonomic standpoint, it's an easy watch to wear. The lugs are wonderfully shapely, featuring bevels as well as compound curves, tumbling off to the side just as they tuck down tightly as they exit the case flanks for a fit on a smaller wrist that's easy and natural. You can also see that the strap, a beautiful alligator leather with minimal bolstering and a monotone stitch, is actually very slim, so there's no problem curving it around the tight bend of a smaller wrist, and both sides can pull down without any encumbrance. Now Zenith does a great job of visually closing the gap between the end of the strap and the flank of the case without using cumbersome and rigid conforming end pieces, and I give them huge credit for that. But this strap has another secret. You can see the bottom side of it is wonderfully rubberized, such that it features a supple inlaid rubber that isolates the leather itself from the effects of sweat or moisture that could otherwise degrade it. So the strap feels great, but it's also built for long-wearing durability. Now, I also want to emphasize that the watch features an outstanding double deployant, twin trigger actuated clasp. So double deployant, it's an easier watch to fit to a smaller wrist because you don't have that single huge up and over of a single. And at the same time, you have the security of the twin trigger and a buckled deployant. So when you're taking it off, when you're putting it on, you don't have to worry about accidentally slipping and dropping it to the floor. Moreover, this beautifully polished and fully finished buckle also features a wonderful low profile when closed, such that when it's actually buckled, it looks like a traditional pin buckle. And this watch is the epitome of elegance in Zenith's current catalog. You can see it's a classical combination of white and black, a white metal with a beautifully polished bezel, and a dial that just dominates proceedings. Now, Zenith smartly made the dial a matte black, the better to allow the calibrations in white and the polished hour indices and Dauphine hands to stand out. The contrast is outstanding. Even in low light, this fully loomed watch that's hands and indices is very easy to read. Moreover, when we talk about elegance, there's a minimalism to the way this tri-compact chronograph is laid out that makes it look vintage and evokes mid-century classics from the pre-El Primero era of the Zenith manufacture. When I talk about the minimal layout, I mean that the watch has only 2 countersunk registers. You can see constant seconds at 9 o'clock, you can see chronograph minutes at 3 o'clock, and the chronograph hours actually features no guillotine, no cut into the dial, with very minimal calibration, such that you almost overlook it unless you're looking for it. It's dominated in a dial sense by the twin registers flanking the cannon pinion at center. Now there is a date window, highly legible at 6 o'clock, so essentially you have everything you need. The king of complications in the chronograph, versatile elegance that'll wear with casual or formal attire, you have a date, and of course you have automatic winding to keep the proceedings underway. And on the case back, you can see the result of that automatic winding, the 5 Hz or 36,000 vibration per hour El Primero. Pioneered in 1969, it was the first integrated high-beat automatic chronograph, and it remains a classic and a workhorse of the Zenith manufacturer to this day. Continuously improved, it nevertheless boasts all of the classic virtues: a column wheel to actuate the chronograph, a 52-hour power reserve, and a beautiful aesthetic composition for an automatic watch. Many automatic watches, in fact, automatic chronographs seem to be the worst offenders, simply don't have very attractive case-back visages. Not this one. You can see the levers, you can see the column wheel, you can see the chronograph drivetrain in action. It has a wonderful depth and nuance, which is actually accentuated by Zenith's use of contrasting finishes, including polished screw heads for those elements used to assemble bridges, and blued screws for those screws that are used for actual adjustment of the base movement and the chronograph mechanism. 31 joules, 326 parts. The complexity actually believes the simplicity of the dial itself. This is a beautiful, classical, timeless watch from Zenith. It'll look as good in 30 years as it looks today, and it'll look as good with short sleeves as a suit. You can see it and you can buy it on our website, watchyouwant.com.